to minimize the negative impacts of new development. The Federal Community Development Act of 1974 replaced urban renewal and provided grants to communities to build and maintain a wide variety of projects, including housing, public utilities, parks, and transportation. Planners had to develop plans to apply for the community development block grants. Transportation planning changed too. The changes were slow, but transportation planners began to think about all modes of transportation, not just the car. The first bike lanes appeared in the 1970s. Cities began to invest in new light rail lines in the 1980s. The federal government began to require better regional transportation plans as well. Planners became experts in all the technical aspects of their job, but they also became educators, facilitators, and advocates. They lacked some of the raw power they had before, but still pioneered new approaches to undoing some of the harm of the previous 60 years. Some cities implemented new smart growth measures, including urban growth boundaries. The practice of Euclidean zoning began to receive pushback, criticized for its use as a tool of exclusion and its promotion of car-only development. Cities encouraged transit-oriented development in the suburbs to give residents an alternative to ever-increasing freeway traffic. Urban challenges remain today. Gentrification and high housing prices are pushing residents out of cities. Car usage is still incredibly high, even given what we now know about their negative impacts. Cities are still segregated by race and income. Self-driving cars could have far-reaching impacts, some we still can't predict. There will be lots for planners to do in the future, and now they have a rich history to reflect on and learn from. Planners, as well as anyone else, can also learn a lot from the more than 25,000 courses over at Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for creators, with more than 25,000 classes in design, business, and more. I'm not sure if people know, but I don't make YouTube videos full-time. I'm a full-time PhD student, husband, and parent. I have a lot going on, and I'm always looking for ways to be more productive with my busy life. I really enjoyed the Skillshare class on productivity by fellow YouTuber Thomas Frank. I hope to keep myself organized in producing videos, even as we expect the birth of my third kid later this year. If you want to fuel your creativity, curiosity, or career, give Skillshare Premium a try. The first 500 viewers who use the link in the description will get a 2-month free trial of Skillshare Premium. And if you decide that you love it, an annual subscription is super affordable, at less than $10 per month. Go check it out now.
This is the sound of a garbage truck in Taipei, a subway in Seoul, 3:30 in Santiago, Auckland, Singapore, Copenhagen, Los Angeles, Sydney, London, Nairobi, Venice, Shenzhen, Wait sitting by, and Songdo. That's in South Korea. Awfully quiet. I ended up here because I was looking for the city of tomorrow. Songdo is the largest private real estate development in history. It's a master planned and entirely state-of-the-art smart city. While Songdo doesn't look like that future, some believe it's the future we need.
It's only impossible until someone does it.
It's also where they shot it.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
Just 25 years ago, Psy would have been dancing on this. Here are some other cities built on water.
There is a race to build a functioning, workable city and to replicate that model all over the world.
China alone would require 500 Songdos to sustain their growing population. So how do we get here with an entire industry racing to build smart cities from scratch?
Technology is the answer, but what is the question?
Good question, Carlo. Are we just building cities of the future so we can have cities of the future? Let's take a step back. When cinema was born, only 14% of the world's population lived in cities. Right now, we're at 54%, and this is where we're headed.
Cities today are growing at a pace that none of us have ever understood.
Now, that's a huge deal when you think about it, because the resources that built the megacities of the 20th century aren't sustainable today.
We do damage to nature, and we do less damage to nature when we occupy less of it.
We're not going to make our planet grow and thrive by continuing to sprawl out.
They're basically saying that when density is done right, it's the best, if not the only, solution to our growing climate crisis. So is future urbanization going to be a good thing or a bad thing? If you care about people, this is the defining question of our time. The Nantucket Project asked me to explore that question, because that's what they do, explore. So I read books, talked to experts, traveled around the world, asked the internet for help, and got responses from people in all these cities.
This is Lucas, we met on YouTube.
They'd show me around, and when I couldn't visit in person, they'd send me footage. The best thing about cities and the internet is they connect people. So this movie's about exploring what an even more connected urban future could look like.
There is a renaissance in the city, and I'm honored to be a participant.